The simmering tensions between the United States and Panama have escalated into a full-blown diplomatic crisis. At the heart of the conflict lies the Panama Canal, linchpin of global trade and a symbol of geopolitical dominance. President Donald Trump has declared the canal's return to U.S. influence as a central pillar of his foreign policy. Like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any exciting videos about politics, society, and business. Accusing Panama of succumbing to Chinese economic manipulation and unfairly targeting American interests. For Trump, this fight isn't just about a waterway. It's about reclaiming America's rightful place as the dominant power in the Western Hemisphere. As the crisis unfolds, the stakes are higher than ever, with potential ripple effects across the globe. Why the Panama Canal is America's strategic jewel. The Panama Canal, stretching over 50 miles, connects the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, facilitating the transit of nearly 6% of global maritime trade annually. The canal's strategic importance transcends commerce. It is also a military and geopolitical asset. For nearly a century, the United States controlled the canal, cementing its dominance over maritime routes in the Americas. However, the canal's transfer to Panama in 1999 under the Torrijos-Carter Treaty marked a pivotal shift. While the move was framed as a step toward rectifying historical inequalities, critics argued it weakened U.S. leverage in the region. Now, with China aggressively expanding its economic footprint in Latin America, Trump sees the canal as a critical battleground in a broader struggle for influence. The economic impact of the canal is immense. Over 1 billion tons of cargo pass through its locks each year, generating billions in revenue. For the U.S., which accounts for a significant portion of canal traffic, ensuring stable and fair access is not just an economic necessity, but a strategic imperative. Any disruption, whether through geopolitical competition or unfair pricing, could ripple through global supply chains. Trump's escalation, turning the heat on Panama. President Trump's foreign policy has always been characterized by boldness, and the Panama Canal crisis is no exception. In recent weeks, Trump has doubled down on accusations against Panama, focusing on two central issues. One, China's growing influence in the canal. The Trump administration has raised alarms over China's increasing investments in Panama's infrastructure, including the canal. Chinese companies have secured contracts for port developments and logistics hubs near the canal, fueling concerns that Beijing could leverage its economic clout to gain strategic control over the waterway. Trump has framed this as a direct threat to U.S. security. "We didn't build the Panama Canal just to hand it over to China," he said during a recent rally. For Trump, allowing China to dominate such a vital route is tantamount to surrendering America's hard-earned global power. Alleged unfair toll practices. Trump has also accused Panama of discriminating against American ships through exorbitant tolls. He argues that American vessels, particularly warships, should receive preferential treatment or toll-free access. The president's demands have been met with resistance from Panama, which insists that its fee structure is equitable and transparent. On February 2, 2025, Secretary of State Marco Rubio met with Panamanian President José Raúl Mulino in an effort to resolve these issues. Rubio delivered a blunt message: reduce Chinese influence and address U.S. grievances, or face the consequences. The statement underscores the Trump administration's willingness to escalate the conflict if its demands are not met. Panama pushes back, a defiant stand for sovereignty. Panama's President José Raúl Mulino has firmly rejected U.S. accusations, calling them unfounded and offensive. His response highlights Panama's determination to protect its sovereignty and refute what it sees as baseless propaganda: no Chinese military presence. Mulino has categorically denied claims that China has a military presence in the Canal Zone, accusing the U.S. of manufacturing a narrative to justify its interference. Commitment to neutrality. The Panamanian government has reiterated its commitment to managing the canal as a neutral international waterway. Mulino has dismissed Trump's demands for toll-free passage of U.S. warships as unrealistic and a violation of international agreements. Economic partnerships, not control. Panama has welcomed Chinese investments as part of its broader economic strategy, but maintains that these partnerships do not compromise its autonomy. Mulino's stance reflects Panama's broader frustration with what it perceives as heavy-handed tactics by the U.S. His administration has vowed to resist any attempt to undermine the country's control over the canal. The bigger picture, a global power struggle. The Panama Canal crisis is not an isolated dispute. It is part of a larger geopolitical chess game between the United States and China. As the two superpowers vie for influence in Latin America, the canal has become a flashpoint in their rivalry. China's Latin American strategy. Over the past decade, China has significantly expanded its economic footprint in Latin America, investing in infrastructure, energy, and trade. In Panama alone, Beijing has financed major projects, including a container port and a free trade zone near the canal. These investments are part of China's Belt and Road Initiative, a global strategy to enhance its influence through economic ties. China's growing presence in Panama has alarmed Washington, which views it as an encroachment on its traditional sphere of influence. For Trump, countering China's ambitions is not just about protecting U.S. interests, it's about preserving the balance of power in the Western Hemisphere. The U.S. response. Trump's aggressive stance on the Panama Canal aligns with his broader approach to foreign policy, which emphasizes America first. By challenging Panama's relationship with China, Trump aims to reassert U.S. dominance in the region and send a clear message to Beijing. America will not tolerate threats to its strategic assets. Potential outcomes. Where do we go from here? The Panama Canal crisis is at a crossroads, with several potential scenarios emerging. 1. Diplomatic resolution. A negotiated agreement could de-escalate tensions, with Panama agreeing to limit Chinese investments and address U.S. concerns over toll practices. This outcome would preserve Panama's sovereignty while safeguarding U.S. interests. 2. Economic retaliation. The U.S. could impose economic sanctions or restrict trade with Panama to pressure the government into compliance. Such measures could strain Panama's economy and force it to reconsider its alliances. 3. Military intervention. While unlikely, Trump has not ruled out the use of military force to secure the canal. Such a move would be highly controversial, potentially triggering international condemnation and escalating tensions with China. Number 4, prolonged standoff. If neither side budges, the crisis could result in a prolonged standoff, with the canal becoming a symbol of the broader U.S. China rivalry. Conclusion. A test of American resolve. The Panama Canal crisis is a defining moment for U.S. foreign policy under President Trump. It is not merely about economic grievances or regional influence. It is a test of America's willingness to confront emerging challenges head-on. As Trump fights to reclaim America's position as the dominant global power, the stakes could not be higher. Whether through diplomacy, economic pressure, or military action, one thing is clear. The United States will not stand idly by as its strategic interests are challenged. Under Trump's leadership, the fight for the Panama Canal is more than a regional dispute. It is a declaration that America's strength and resolve remain unmatched on the world stage. Like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any exciting videos about politics, society, and business.